Hey folks, Todd at Freedom Fighter Tactical. Welcome to the channel. Today is Tuesday, what is it, November 28th. Can you believe it's November? We haven't done a video here in quite some time. It might have been since August or September. Have been out of the groove of doing videos, but I am going to make every effort over the next few months to get back into the groove because there's been a lot of action here at Freedom Fighter Tactical. There's been a lot of action in the gun community, and I want to keep you guys up to date with what's going on, what's in stock, what's not in stock, all that good stuff, because the craziness continues in our world, which means increased demand on gun parts. It's just a whirlwind constantly. In fact, that's part of the reason why I haven't been doing videos. But anyway, let's get started right now. Hey folks, again, Todd at Freedom Fighter Tactical. Welcome to the channel. My mission basically is to make your BENELLI M4 as good as it can be. I love helping people get their BENELLI M4s squared away. I also help people with the M1, M2, M3, and the Super Black Eagle 1, 2, and 3, and I try to do some of the 1301. I've got a little bit to talk about it on the 1301 today. But let's just dive right in. Status of business and inventory updates have always been about what's in stock, what's not in stock, to let you know that we are packing and shipping here at Freedom Fighter Tactical, and we're not taken out because of events like COVID. That's what started it, was COVID. Everybody kept calling and saying, hey, are you open? Hey, are you shipping? So I did the videos to kind of help with that. We're not in a shutdown situation, of course, right now, but there's been extreme demand on gun parts and accessories. Tons of people buying M4s, which is an awesome thing. Welcome to the fold. If you're new with your BENELLI M4, you can contact me on the website through the little text blurb. You can text me at the phone number on the website. You can call me at the number on the website, or you can email me. I'm very easy to get, and I love helping you guys out build your M4s. I've also worked very hard on the website. There's tons of information on the website. Be sure to read titles and descriptions. You'll know exactly what you're looking at if you read the titles and descriptions. And the 922R page, anything I can tell you 922R is going to be found on that 922R page. There's text, there's videos. Teach it to yourself. It's good stuff. It's easy to do. I don't do a lot of teaching of 922 on the website or through the text. There's no reason for me to type out everything about 922R in a text when it's on the website anyway. So if you've got questions about fine points that maybe are kind of hazy, give me a ring, text me, whatever. But generally speaking, I send people to the website for their education on 922R, because what's on that 922R page is about as good as I can tell you. If you call me to confirm your understanding of it, you simply just need to read the page a second time, and that's what I'm going to tell you on the phone is what's on that page. So anyway, I've made it very easy for you. Check it out. But again, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. Let's talk about inventory. Inventory is always tough to keep up in the firearms business. I don't care what gun you're selling for. There's always a crowd that's interested in that gun and the parts for it. And the machines don't always run as fast as the credit cards run on the sales page. So it's always a chore keeping up with inventory. Let me tell you what's getting low, so you know if you're trying to build your gun right now, you'll know what to get now. You'll know what you can wait and get later. Oversized bolt release buttons. I have plenty in the MP3 format. They don't go as quickly as the black, but the black I'm getting very, very low. So if you want oversized bolt release buttons, you want to get in on that as soon as you can. It's one of the best upgrades for this gun. It's a lot of people's favorite upgrade. It's my favorite upgrade. It's a tough call if it really is the best upgrade or not, but it makes an incredible difference in your enjoyment of this firearm and your ability to work it. Top rails are getting low, both in NP3 and black. Of course, the black always has more pressure than the NP3. The BENELLI NP3 door breech that we've got on the website, I think it's part number 60097. That's getting very low. In fact, they both are. The black is getting low as well. You guys have responded to those. TrueLock makes the adapter for us, and those parts are just absolutely glorious. MP3 trigger kits are getting low where I've got black. I've got plenty of black on hand. It's funny, the MP3 on a lot of parts doesn't sell as well as the black, but when it comes to the trigger components, the MP3 is the better or the more popular item. Steel 7-round mag tubes. I think as I actually am recording this video, and probably by the time I post it, it's gone, but I think I'm down to one black steel tube that's American made. I've got several hundred coming out of coating any day now, so that inventory will be back up again. But It's just constant pressure on the magazine tubes. It's probably the first thing everyone does with their shotgun when they pull it out of the box. So they want to get that magazine tube on there just as soon as they can. So NP3, I've got several hundred raw pieces coming off the machines, but I've got to box those up and send those off to NP3. So on my website, I have that. I'm expecting to have them around February. I think that's accurate. I think it's possible to have them sooner. In fact, they'll probably show up the day that I'm leaving for SHOT Show in January. So with my luck, everything always seems to show. Like Mesa Tactical was going to send me this major load that had an estimated delivery date of the day before Thanksgiving. And I contacted them. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be there for Thanksgiving. Don't have them show up at Thanksgiving. I don't want them sitting there on the by the door. So you need to wait. It always seems like companies, when they see a deadline like Thanksgiving or Christmas, or they don't know about SHOT Show necessarily, but I always seem to get deliveries of huge orders like the day before some major holiday or event where most people would be gone. Just the luck of the draw. So but we do have MP3. We're working on them vigilantly, and I know you guys want them. I get a lot of questions about them. Recoil tubes are all getting low. I've got the Freedom Fighter Tactical version, which is the 3-position. It's basically a copy of the BENELLI OEM. It's American made. It does not help with 922R. There's a myth out there that recoil tubes help with 922R. That's just a myth. They don't. ANS trigger housings, probably by the time you watch this video, I'm out of those again, but I will have more ordered. I may have them ordered already. I can't remember. The 7003, the aluminum trigger housings in NP3 and black are getting very low. Everyone gets rid of the plastic housing off their new BENELLI M4 and puts the aluminum on. The ANS tends to be the favorite, but there's a lot of people that want to stick with OEM. When they stick with OEM, of course, they're going with the 70003, and we are getting low on those. Those, they come in spurts. When you get them, you can get a lot of them, but when you can't get any of them or a lot of them, you'll have months or years where you don't even see them. So if you need a BENELLI OEM aluminum housing, they're in right now. So that pretty much covers what's going out of stock or what's low. Charging handles, there's a lot of pressure on the charging handles right now. You guys are really interested in that 3/4 steel, which is kind of interesting. Everybody seems to want that one. That's awesome. It's a great handle. It's kind of a pig, in comparison to the 1/2" or the 3/4 titanium. But I mean, they go one direction out the door. You guys just love the 3/4 steel. I'm glad that you do. But there's always pressure on the charging handles, and it's kind of one of those add-ons. It's like, you get the magazine tube and you get the spring and you get something else for 922, maybe the follower, maybe the Forend, and then it's like time to check out. It's like being at the grocery store, and then you're there where all the snacks and all the gum and all the candy are. That's where the charging handles come in. That's where the oversized bolt release buttons, all the little ticky-tack add-ons that are fun to pick up and put on the gun. So always pressure on the charging handles. In news, okay, for the first time ever, I broke apart some Scalar Works SW1100s and SW1200s. I can't remember which one is which, but one's an RMR mount, one's, they're mounts for different optics. We've never done them in NP3 finish. I'm only doing the platform itself in NP3 finish. For those of you who are NP3 aficionados like I am, normally I do the hardware as well. For instance, on the ANS trigger housings, when I send the ANS trigger housings in, I also get the pins coated in NP3. There's something else that I did where I did the screws as well. I didn't do that on the Scalar Works because the Scalar Works screws have markings on them for tightness, for torquing down on the screws into your receiver properly. And I didn't want to cover up the markings that Scalar Works has determined are important for you to see when you're installing your mounts. So the platform itself will be in a beautiful MP3 coated finish, but the hardware, the screws, there's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 screws with each one, probably 6. And then there's a little tool. A lot of times I would do the tool as well, but I didn't break apart any of the hardware. I just sent the platforms in. So guys, if you're interested in NP3 Scalar Works, They are coming. ANS MP3 housings. I had miscounted and sold 2 more than I actually have. Those 2 guys, I will send them out to you when they are available. I've got trigger housings at ANS at Coding right now. So I'll probably get them in the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even sooner. So as soon as those come in, the first 2, you know, 1 each to you guys. And then I think I did 50 or 70. I don't remember how many I did, but the ANS trigger housings and NP3 are always hot. I am sold out of the black, I think, as of this video. I think I already mentioned that. And what's coming on the horizon? If you watch over on Instagram, by the way, follow on Instagram, Freedom Fighter Tactical. It's very easy to find, and I try to post content there. I'm not very religious about doing such, but I'm going to try in the future. We're going to do a whole website revamp at some point in the future. And Shopify is making it tricky for our payment processing. You know, it's hard when you're a gun business or a gun parts business even. A lot of credit card companies, you know, they're owned by people who don't like guns, or they have social agendas, or they have social credit scores to keep, whatever. So they don't want to do gun stuff. So we're in the process of weighing our options on a new website. We're weighing our options on an app. And we're possibly going to focus on a shopping app where you can see videos and you can look at products and you can sign up for notifications, all that kind of stuff within the app. And a lot of people like shopping in an app better than a website. And a lot of my customers are older. A lot of us are getting, you know, I'm in my 50s. A lot of my customers are 10, 15, 20 years older than me. And I watched my father-in-law, who's in his 80s. You know, if my father-in-law, and I actually have a lot of customers that do shoot still that are in their late 70s and 80s, if you can believe that. There are shotgunners out there that old. And I watched my father-in-law, and if you put him in front of a computer, it is not happening. But if you put an iPad or an iPhone in his hand, he is amazing on it. So, you know, and if you think about it, when you put an iPad or an iPhone in the hands of a 1 or a 2-year-old, they learn to scroll really quick and start hitting buttons and figuring things out and taking action. You put a 1 or a 2-year-old in front of a computer with a keyboard and a mouse, and they're not going to figure it out ever. I mean, it's going to be years before they're able to be even close to proficient on that device. So, you know, our patterns of shopping and engagement are different with apps, and we're weighing our options on an app and a website. But this is in response to difficulties that we're getting with Shopify and with credit card processing systems in doing gun stuff. I mean, the world's just kind of closing in on people who do things gun. There's also other industries as well. There's, you know, people that do tobacco, for instance. Tobacco, and I look at the list of prohibited companies or prohibited transactions in these credit card companies' terms of service. You know, it's like a lot of adult content, which, you know, I get that. But you know, fireworks and firearms and gun parts and tobacco and CBD and alcohol, and you know, there's this whole list of stuff. So we're weighing our options, and I've got a few months before I've got to be off Shopify. If I have a payment system that I can find that jives with Shopify, they've just canceled the one that I use that's assigned through Bank of America. Of all banks, the one that Bank of America uses, Shopify is no longer going to accept after a few months. So, you know, go figure. But anyway, we've got a lot of new parts coming. I've got 1 position recoil tubes in the works. Those may be dropping any day now. Those are for people who live in California or New York or New Jersey or Massachusetts or Connecticut or Illinois or Washington State, where they're not allowed to have, I don't know, some of these states may let you have a fully collapsible skeletonized stock. I truly don't know. I know in California that's a felony to have a collapsible stock in California. And even the way the law reads, it makes it sound like even a pinned collapsible stock is against the law. But people are, I mean, BENELLI sells them here that way, and it's been going on for years, so it must be okay. The way the law reads, you'd think it wouldn't be okay, but we're going to have 1 position tubes for people who want to have, it's not technically pinned. It's still, you know, there's nothing pinned about the stock. You can still remove it, but it's going to be a 1 position at the closest, at the furthest in. We might do other positions as well, 1 position at some point. We'll see what kind of response we get, but initially we're going to do the pushed all the way in, closest in position, so the shotgun can be shorter for people who live in states where you cannot have an adjustable, collapsible stock. We also have 6-position tubes coming as well. They'll be a little bit longer, but they're coming. And then the 70088. This is going to be my last thing I talk about today. That is the skeletonized stock piece. Benelli used to sell this individually, and if you bought it before they discontinued it to the public, you know, kudos for you. You probably could get them cheap, and with that, you can get everything you need to have a collapsible stock piecemeal. Well, Benelli discontinued it, and over the last year and a half, we have worked hard on developing ours. I think I've got a few of them back here. I don't even know if this one's an OEM or not. This one is an OEM because it's been peened. I know that because I haven't peened any of my test pieces where that pin is, but I think the others behind me are samples, but they're no good. We're very close to this being a reality. And I probably will sell it. I don't have a team of people, so I don't tend to sell things that require, in fact, this will be the first thing that I sell that really requires putting it together, assembly, right? So I'll probably sell it disassembled at a drastically reduced price than an assembled piece. And if I sell it assembled, I haven't decided if I'm going to do this yet, but if I sell it assembled, I mean, it'll be several $100s more because I'll be assembling it myself. And time is money, right? I don't have somebody I can pay $10 an hour to and they assemble these all day. And I'm not going to hire that kind of help. I don't want to manage people. I'm too old in this day and age with the way everybody is about their sensitivities. I do not want employees. So the markup will be significant for those who simply just don't, their time is more valuable than their money. And there's a lot of people out there, and that's an achievement, really. When you get to a point in life where your time is more valuable than your money, you're really doing quite well. And you know, I'll probably put 10 or 15 of these together every month for people who simply don't want to spend the time screwing around with it. It'll be several $100s more for an assembled one. But you can put it together yourself. They're not hard. I'll put together instructions, and they're not fun to put together. They get easier as you do them, but they're time consuming. They're a headache. There's a lot of banging with the hammer and getting things right. That's coming soon, though. We're going to have these soon. This is a 922R part, so you still will have to comply with 922R. And again, you know, some people out there, they like to think that companies that mention 922R, you know, kind of beat that drum in order to sell more parts. I don't care if you buy the parts or not. I don't care if you comply with 922R or not. I just simply don't care. Enough people out there are going to want to comply with the law that I don't have to beat a drum. I don't have to encourage you to comply with the law. I do encourage you to comply with the law. I encourage people out there to be lawful with their firearms, of course, but I don't, you know, need to instill any sort of fear. I mean, you know, if you want to comply with the law, you know, comply with the law. If you don't, hey, that's cool too. Doesn't matter to me, but it is out there. But this part will count as one piece. So, you know, if you buy the magazine tube and you go the cheapest route, say get the follower, the magazine tube, you get this piece and maybe the Forend, and you're home free on 922R if you're complying with 922R is something you want to do. I, at this point, do not have I do have plans to make the grip portion of the stock, but initially I'm just going to sell the stock piece. You'll have to buy OEM for the grip, which is fine. But I already do have the plans in the works to build the skeletal piece, because that's been discontinued, of the grip, and the rubber housing that goes over the skeletal piece. We've already done all the pins. We've already done the plate. We've already done the plate retention piece. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but almost everything in the collapsible stock we've already made except for the stock itself. The button I can have, I mean, we've already got all that done. We haven't done it, but I can have that button done in 2 weeks. All the work has already been done. But then the grip itself, I will do the grip at some point. That won't make a difference in the 922R because this is the piece that counts for 922R. The grip does not. it turns what's a one piece, the field stock or the stock with the pistol grip, that's a one piece stock. It turns it into a two piece stock, but so it raises it one part, but this is the part that raises it the one part. If the grip raises it apart, it would raise two parts, but the grip doesn't. It's just this one part. I know that's a bunch of mumble jumble, but for those of you who know what 922R is, you get what I'm talking about. Listen, folks, I'm going to call it a day on the video. I'm going to try not to be such a stranger, try to get these videos going. You know what? I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I've got a multitude of reasons why I haven't been doing videos. And there are more excuses to allow me not to do them because I've been so busy with so many other things. But one of the things is when we moved back to California, we rented this house. We live in an amazing house here in Orange County, and we rented it. A brand new house, no one's ever lived in it, had just been built, and we're opening escrow this week on the house, which means I can build my, if you remember my old studio, I have the lights out and I have the TV behind me, and I had dimmers and I had lighting in the room, and it was more of a professional studio. My backdrop was a lot better. I actually lack adequate electricity in this loft. Sometimes if I have too many things on, the breaker goes, so I've got to have the electricity dealt with. And I will build this studio up. And the camera, on my old studio, I had cameras behind me on mounts, and I could do videos where the camera was pointed down at the gun and we would do things on the table. I haven't wanted to set that up because it's so hard to set up, and then it's so hard to take apart and then reset back up, that if we didn't buy this house, I don't want to put it up and we're here for a year and then I have to take it down. So we get through this escrow, I'm going to build my studio up again the way I had it before, and we will be doing a lot more videos. I also told you that I would be talking about the 1301 a little bit. Things are moving in the right direction with the 1301. Beretta's very tricky to deal with. I'm trying to get reestablished with them. The guy that was my contact there that sold me my parts through Beretta initially just kind of disappeared. I think he found another job somewhere. This is like 2 years ago. And I haven't been able to make solid contact with anybody who can help me out at Beretta, despite seeing them at SHOT Show. And they come across as very helpful, but then I just never get anywhere. I think we're finally getting somewhere now. So, and we've also got some Beretta things in the works. I've got followers in the works for Beretta. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I've got some other goodies. We're working on charging handles, and we're working on some other things. Oh, and one more thing. This is kind of a big piece of information. So if you stayed this long, then you're going to be the one in the know. Impact weapons components, okay? We started working with impact weapons components in 2020, I think it was, and Earl Pittman was amazing to work with, okay? Sadly, he died a year ago this February, and it doesn't seem like the company's doing anything. I would love for them to come back and make their part. I would love to build my inventory of impact weapons component stuff. Earl and I had big plans. We were going to make weapons lights for the M1, the M2, the M3, the Beretta 1301. I mean, we were going to roll up our sleeves. I was actually going to give him a bunch of my guns so that he could do the R&D on them and make the components for them. I'm glad I didn't, because if I had given him the guns and then he passed away, I may have never have seen those guns again. It could have been a real issue. So fortunately, I didn't give him those guns. But I've tried and tried and tried, folks. I see the commentary on the internet when people point me out to it, where they think impact is coming back and where they think certain companies have impact parts, and people are trying to, oh, they've got them over here, they got them over there. It never turns into anything. People, oh no, they don't have them, or oh, they had inventory, but they, you know, then they had to give me my money back. Folks, I hate to say it, but it doesn't appear as though impact is coming back. Their website's still up. There's still whispers around the campfire about what's happening or what. But I mean, I'm not going to talk about my experience with impact since Earl has died. I have had some interactions with impact, and they're not bad interactions. They're just interactions that tell me that there's probably not coming back. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but in the meantime, we're working on flashlight mounts that are very, very close to what you had with impact. We are improving the product, which I think is difficult to do. Earl was a genius, and Earl made excellent parts, and Earl was excited about his parts. And I didn't know him very well, but I love the guy from my limited experiences with him. And I find it hard to believe that we could even improve a part. It'll be you guys to judge if we've improved it or not, but it'll be very similar to what Impact had, but it is different in design. And it's going to be very soon. In fact, I saw the first part come off the machine last week, and it was absolutely glorious. We're gonna get this project done so quick and get these out there to you guys. Everybody's gonna get a rail. I never really understood why Earl sold the Scout mount and then sold the 1913 mount. There was like a $20 difference between the two, and the 1913 was basically the Scout mount with a piece of rail. People would get confused over which one to get. People would buy the Scout and then need the rail, or people would buy the, they always needed more, or people would get confused. People would see this product on the internet on like a Google search or something along those lines, and then they would go buy the Scout because it was a cheaper one and then wonder where the rail was. Everyone's gonna get a rail with ours. Whether you need the rail or not, it'll be a $20 part, the rail built into the price. And whether you need it or not, you'll be paying for the rail, but you'll have it if you need it in the future, because a lot of times people don't know if they're gonna need it later. But we're going to include the rail, and it's going to be glorious. These things are awesome, and they're coming. I mean, I'm hoping they come maybe before the end of the year. We'll see. Folks, it's been a good one. I know it's been a long one. Thank you for being patient and tuning in. I greatly appreciate you all. You know where to find me if I can be of any service. Phone number's on the website, text board's on the website. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I'm very responsive to you and your needs. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. I do ask that you try to educate yourself on my website with 922R, or if you're looking at a certain part, you try to educate yourself by reading the title and the description before asking me what the part's for, because a lot of the times the title and the description will tell you what the part is. So I put that there to help you. And but if you still have a question after you've checked all that out, by all means, call me, email me, text me, whatever. I'm here to help you. That's why I have all that information on the website and allow you to contact. People were contacting me on Thanksgiving Day. I was taking calls. Black Friday, I was taking calls. Christmas Day, I will take calls. A lot of times I'll let it go to voicemail and then I'll call back a few hours later. But I will talk to you on Christmas if you call me on Christmas, if not the day after. So I'm always available. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Love for the police and first responders out there. The world is tough and makes your job tough, and I'm sorry about that. I do appreciate you. A lot of us here in the crowd appreciate you, and thank you to you and your families for your sacrifices and your dedication and your service to our communities. Those at large in the federal, in the military, and people who are serving this country admirably and to the letter of the Constitution, thank you for your service. Those of you who are not, you need to get a head check. Your duty is to the citizens, to the Constitution, and we appreciate those who observe that and serve with that in mind and in their heart. Take care, folks. I will see you in the next video. It won't be 3 months away. Take care. Be safe. Talk to you soon.